everybody. Good night, good evening. Welcome to Sunday Night Live. Usual on YouTube every Sunday night at 8, although I have started about 3 minutes early today. That's just for the folks who are going to fight to come first. Like Sherry, I see you on the inside. Sherry, you're first. How do you feel about that? Seismic, nope, you're not first. Sherry was first. Jared, you're not last. Jared, you're third. Adriana, third, nope, fourth. Matthias, good night. And Spanish. Yeah, so tonight I'm going to show you all another simple, well, not simple, another hack on how to prevent against it and how it could be, how it is going to be, how it's usually implemented in real life, right? Because plenty of the times y'all think somebody hacking things, or they'll be like, wait, you could really do that? Or wait, now people will be like, sir, you could hack? And I'll be like, I know how to do some things because I learned a little bit about ethical hacking. So I'll go and try to educate you all on some of the things that are out there, because there are a lot of things out there. I hope you know that. Alright, yeah, let me see who else inside there. Yeah, Spanish on the inside. Jabish, I see you there also. Alright, welcome those of y'all who don't know who I am and you're watching this video after the fact. My name is Mr. Charles. This channel is called makeITsimpleTT, and I am a teacher. I teach IT and computer science for a living, yada yada yada. The start of every live video, this is what you see all the time. And well, right now the programming competition going on. This will be in August 2020 if you're watching this after the fact. The tuition videos have classes for everything, which will be CSEC IT, CSEC CAPE, and CSEC Computer Science. And if you're interested in any one of them, you go to the website makeITsimpleTT.com, fill out the form, and boom, I will get back to you and let you know about the classes, dates, times, and whatever you want to learn, because it's all about education. And what are we learning tonight? Tonight we're learning how to do a man-in-the-middle attack with HTTP, okay, and how to protect against it. So what you're going to do, what we have to do is we're going to make you feel like you're a hacker. You see? I'm going to make you feel like you're a hacker. So let's see what's going on. Yeah, Jarvis' name is really Officer Pork. Alright, so let's get this go. VMware. Alright, so with this hack, I have two workstations I have to run, right? You always have to create the attacker, and you always have to create the attackee. So I'm going to fire them up one time. That's one virtual machine, and then the next one will be a Windows XP one. But before that, I need to explain to you all via drawing how this is going to work. Oh gosh, what's all them beeping? Oh, that's the Kali Linux starting up. Okay, cool. Alright, so this is me running Kali Linux in the background. If you were watching last week, you'll understand the concept of a virtual machine. A virtual machine is just an operating system inside our next operating system, right? Alright, so we're going with a man-in-the-middle attack. So you start off with this is you, and then you'll always have the server on the side that you want to actually get into. Alright, and the server is going to be a web server. Right, so you on the web server, right? You normally, under normal circumstances, you would send a request to this web server via HTTPS, and you will get back a response that will come back via HTTPS also. Alright, just in case you didn't know, HTTPS is HTTPS is hypertext transfer protocol, but it has the S at the end. It stands for secure, right? So HTTPS is hypertext transfer protocol, and it stands for secure, right? So really and truly what's supposed to happen is whenever you send information over the internet and you use HTTPS, you are securing the packets that you send to the web server, and the web server will authenticate it as secure and then send you back a secure packet, and then you will get the website coming up on your screen here, right? So this will be the actual website. So you will send your login information, so you send your login, and the login information will go here, the server will authenticate you, and it'll give you back your page and whatever page you have to get. Now, what a man in the middle attack does now is a man in the middle literally puts a computer in the middle, and we'll call this computer man, and the man in the middle is going to intercept the HTTPS login traffic. So what happens is this. Now watch me real carefully. You would send a packet of information and try to get it across to the web server. But what's going to happen is that the man in the middle is going to become like a fake server. So the man in the middle will be a fake server. It will grab the information that comes in as HTTPS, pass it through a kind of programming thingy here, and then it will send it to the computer as HTTP. So the server not really going to ask any questions whether it get HTTP or whether it get HTTPS, it doesn't matter. It'll be like, okay, I got the answer, and when it gets the HTTP, it will send it back now to you as HTTP or HTTPS. The problem is when the S from the HTTPS is stripped from it, what happens is that it becomes unsecure. So then inside here, bad stuff could happen. So if the packets of information that you sent via the HTTPS here had login credentials, they will strip it, take the bad stuff, send the same login credentials, and it will get to the server, and then the server will send it back, and you will actually get to log in, or you most likely will get to log in, but what would happen is that your login credentials would be stored there. Alright, anybody any questions about that before we jump into it? Alright, so first VM, let me get the size up a little bigger. Okay. Okay. You tell them not to do that? You told them not to? Alright. Yeah, that's why the lock in the that's why the lock is in the browser. Yeah, when you look at the browser, wherever the lock is, that means it's secure. If you don't have a lock on it, that means it's not secure. So you are correct. I mean, let's change the resolution of this thing so that it will be bigger. 1280 by 1024 should be good. Yep, that's big enough. You all should be able to see that. Alright, now I have to get the victim machine now. The victim machine is Windows XP. Because this particular hack has been patched by most browsers. So I have to use a kind of old operating system that has a poor browser, which is Internet Explorer. Which coincidentally, on earlier this week, or I think it was the 20th of August, they finally stopped they finally stopped Internet Explorer from having support. So it's actually a dead browser now. You cannot use Internet Explorer again unless you force the computer to use it. Alright, so the victim machine is Internet Explorer. I mean Windows XP. The reason I'm using Windows XP is because this is the easiest one to demonstrate this on, because most other operating systems, It'll probably work on Windows 7, but I just couldn't find a Windows 7 ISO to download at such short notice. So, Internet Explorer is actually dead. It may work on other machines, because last week I used a Linux machine. Hey, all don't forget to like the video. All you're doing this thing long enough to know that you should like the video. I don't understand that. All my OGs inside here, and all you come and watch and click like. I don't understand. Anyhow, right here. So Windows XP is up here. I have my attacker here, which is Kali Linux, right? Don't forget, right? Remember, Kali Linux is the penetration testing tool, right? So let's go back to the diagram. So you would be, let me get a different color. See if I can get a different color here. Give me a different color. I want purple, right? So this is WinXP. This here is Kali Linux. And this here is anybody, any server, right? We will live with that for now. Alright, so what I want to do is according to this diagram, I want to make this Windows XP computer think that it's going straight to the server, but it's not. So it will think that it's going like this, but really and truly it's going through the Kali Linux machine and then going to the server and think that it's going to be in the right place, right? So they're following me so far. So for Kali Linux, this whole thing here is done by a command line because this is one of those kind of advanced-ish ones. Alright, so the first thing I have to do, I hope you're seeing. Can you all see? I'll zoom in a little bit. Alright, good. Alright, so y'all can see. Alright, so the first thing I have to do is I have to type a command to create a IP forward, because I am forwarding all the information from one computer to mine, right? First thing I have to figure out is my IP address, which is ifconfig, which is 192.168.1.98. Cool, no problem. I'll clear that screen. So I know my IP address. I know the gateway is 1.1 because that is the default gateway for the router. So I have to run a command called echo 1, because I put in the number 1 inside a text file that is in a location called proc.sysnet. So basically the network folder, IP version 4, which is to tell you what IP standard you're using, and IP forward. Right, so once I put that in, the number 1 goes into that file, and once that number 1 goes into that file, it knows that it's going to try to forward the information to another table, right? To another computer. On this computer here, I need to find the IP address of this computer, so I'm going to have to go to run cmd and do ipconfig. And I know the IP of this computer is 1.164, right? So once I know that that is 1.164, I could now go into the command line here on Kali and type in the command to create a forward. What I'm doing is I'm creating a forward that will trick the Windows XP computer to think that whenever it's going to the default gateway, which is the router, that it will actually be going to my computer. So my computer is going to act as the exit to the internet. So it's going to be like the exit to the internet. So when you come by me, you think you are going to the internet, but I really just lying to you. So it's like I change out the door, and every time you pass through the door, I swipe all the information, and then you go through the next side and you don't realize that I took your stuff, right? So think about thief standing up by a door. When you walk through the door, the thief bounces into you, seal your wallet, and you walk through the door thinking that everything is working okay. Alright, so now we have to do the command inside here to create the forward. So the command is a long command. And if you think I know this by heart, I don't. I had to check my notes on this. I had to do all homework. Alright, IP tables -t. I'll try to explain all of them as I go along. IP tables is the command. -t, I don't know what that means. NAT means network address translation. A stands for something. Pre-routing. means before I get the information, when I get the information from the XP computer, I'll pre-route it or something like that. TCP is the protocol. All of these things you should know about. You should have remembered these things from like IT, the actual terms. TCP is transmission control protocol. Destination dash port, and I want to take port 80 and redirect it. I don't know what the J means, dash J, redirect, and I'm redirecting to port 8080. Right. So once I do this command, it's going to create a redirect that's now going to fake where the actual router is. Because remember, to get out to the internet, you have to pass through your router, which is the default gateway. And then that router will go to the modem, and the modem will convert it to analog signals or digital signal, right? For those of you all who like go and get one in IT, you should know that. Well, you should remember that. Or for those of you all that go and try to do IT and computer science, you should know that also, right? So, now that I have that there, I'm going to do something called ARP spoofing. Now, let me explain this to you. ARP spoofing is ARP, right? That is our protocol, and this protocol is basically the backbone of transmission. On a network. So before there was TCP/IP, there was ARP, and when you use ARP, all computers have to use ARP to kind of communicate with each other. So what we're going to be doing is ARP spoofing. So I'm going to create this ARP spoof here with this command, which is ARP spoof, ARP spoof. I think this only in Kali Linux, right? So you can't try this in like any other Linux. And you may notice if it works on mobile phones, yeah, it works on any, it basically targeting our computer, you know, and a mobile phone is a computer. So any device that is sending information over a network, this is what you'll do. I'll explain the use cases to you when I finish this, alright? Let me just demonstrate it first. ARP spoof dash I ETH0, that is my my IP address. No, my network card. And now I have to put in the IP address of my target, which is 1.164. So ETH0-T, as always forget the dash T, 192.168.1.164. Right, that is the target IP. And then I press dash R. I'm redirecting it to 192.168.1.1. So I've basically taken the traffic that's supposed to go to 1.1, which is my router or default gateway, and sending that to my computer, and it will basically lie and say, hey, I have that. Right. So what's happening now is that it's going to run this ARP spoof over and over and over and over and over. So this will just keep running in the background. The reason this is going to keep running in the background is because it is actively listening to the communication between this Windows XP computer and the router, because it's basically eavesdropping right now. So it is electronically eavesdropping what is taking place between the XP computer and the router, but nothing is actually happening because you notice the XP computer that's saying in the background they're doing nothing, right? So while I have this running in the background, I will open up a new terminal now, because that's basically the listening device. So I'm going to open up the terminal now, a new terminal, and in this terminal, I'm going to run the command to actually start to steal the data. So I'm going to make this a little bigger. Alright, so the command to actually steal the data now is SSL strip, SSL strip. Right. So notice in the example I was showing you all that it comes in as HTTPS here. Right here it comes in as HTTPS, but when it goes through the computer, the man in the middle, it comes out as HTTP. Notice the S is gone, right? So what we're doing is we're stripping the security from it. Once you strip the security from it, we should be able to take the stuff that we need, right? So SSL strip dash L 8080, which is the port that we pushing everything through. And once I put that on, it's going to run the program SSL strip version, whatever it is. I'll wait for it to run. Right, good. Right, so now the program is running. SSL strip is running. So right now it's waiting for the information that's going to, any HTTPS information that tries to pass through, it's going to grab it, right? Nice, so let's go and try and get some HTTPS information to go through. I'll minimize that. All right, so we go into our favorite insecure browser, which is called Internet Explorer. So I'm opening up Internet Explorer because it's the most insecure browser that I could find right now. If I try this with Chrome or try it with Firefox or something else, it probably won't work because those browsers are modern, they're more updated, and they could figure out when this attack is taking place. But Internet Explorer ain't really going to figure it out. So let me go to Facebook.com. Now pay attention to what's going on in the background here, right? Look at this part of the screen here. You will see it start to show things when I go to our website. So let's say I go to Facebook.com. And you see stuff that happened in the background here? Right, it figured out, hey, web traffic is taking place, right? Now, this looking kind of awkward because Facebook not supporting Internet Explorer anymore. Remember, this is just a lab test, right? So, because Facebook doesn't support Internet Explorer anymore, they give you this message saying, hey, we don't use Internet Explorer anymore, you need to do it. But anyhow, but let me say somebody decide, listen, I really need to get to my Facebook account, so I'm going to log in. So we'll go at you have been hacked at mail.com, and I'm going to put the password as Facebook hack, right? Right. So now when I click login, it's going to try to go to this Facebook site and it'll be like, nope, you have a problem. There's an issue with it. Cool. Well, the issue that really happened is that the information that I sent here went through this and then tried to send it to the server, and the Facebook server was like, nah, something wrong, boy. That ain't making sense. Try and log in again. But what really happened is that on the Kali Linux machine, what happened is I just got the information from that login. In order to read the information from that login, watch me now, I have to run I had to read a log file, right? So nano is to read a text file in Linux, right? SSL strip.log. And inside this log file, I will have all this information here. But if I go to here, right, if I go through all the text that's inside here, which is a long set of text, you will see, look right here, you see email, you have been hacked. Email, you have been hacked at mail.com. That comes up right there, and then you see pass and PASS, pass, that stands for password, which is Facebook hack, which is what I named it. Right, so I'm gonna zoom in for y'all to see if I can zoom in a little more. View. Okay, right, good. So you're seeing it there, pass equals Facebook hack, and then email equals you have been hacked at mail.com, right? So what just happened is when I was on this XP machine, I tried to force myself to log into this Facebook page. It didn't work very well, and now the information has been jacked, right? Okay, so let's try TikTok. TikTok will most likely say this browser is not supported. Let me see. Alright, TikTok is there. The page looks kind of weird. Let me try login. See what will happen. Because in the background of all these apps, all of them is use the same HTTPS. It's very possible that TikTok won't open up here because this browser is too old. it will try, but nah, it ain't work. Let me see. Nah, boy. Alright, nah, that ain't gonna work. Let me try Instagram. Let's see what happens if I go to Instagram. Will you accept it? Nope, Instagram not working. If I put HTTPS, let me see if it will accept it. Nah, Facebook is the only one that will do that. Where else you have to log in, boy? Let's try give me a site to log into. Not a social media site. Give me someone to log into that's not a social. Because the social media sites will most likely have very high security with respect to this. However, well, you see, we just got through to Facebook, so let me try Reddit. Alright, let me try Twitter. Will Twitter come up? Alright, Twitter comes up. So you know what's going to happen here. Let me just close off the SSL strip log here, because I need to make sure the log file close. How closing this Control X? No. Alright, good. Alright, so Twitter accepted it. So let me try to see if I'll point out Twitter. Fake email at mail.com. You are lame. Login. Twitter should tell me that I have a problem. Well, it didn't tell me I have a problem, so let's see what will happen when I run the SSL strip log. Alright, I do have Twitter. And Twitter was just pawned. Fake email at mail.com. Session password is you are lame. Yep. Alright, so I got Twitter. Well, I'm dragging petfood.com. Alright. Petfood.com. Petfood.com is not responding. No, they're not working out very well. Alright, so let's try Hotmail. Hotmail is live.com. You see, once they give you once they have 2 pages to log into, that will be an issue. Because that is how they kind of fight this attack. They authenticate your email first, then they authenticate the password, because the HTTP, the SSL strip can't strip both of them at the same time. That's one of the limitations. I'm not too sure. It probably updated by now, but this is our old hack. So let me try it again. Something at mail.com. If I click next, let's see what will happen, and then I'll put in fake password, and I try to sign in. It should tell me something is wrong. Well, of course you'd know something is wrong because you would see that you can't see all that. But let me see if the SSL strip pick up anything. Oh, look, it did. Wow. Didn't expect that to happen. So username is something at mail.com, and then if I go across, it will show me that the password is there. Fake password. Yep, look it right there. Fake password. So yes, I was able to strip the information from the traffic that was passing through. So that is, try the PlayStation Store. I doubt the PlayStation Store going to open on this browser. PlayStationStore.com. I don't know. Official PlayStation Store.com. Alright. Now, you realize that the browser not rendering properly, which is a sign to let you know from the start, hey, don't log in here because the browser is not rendering properly. So I can't even see where I have to log in by. I'm not too sure. Login. Nope, no login. No login coming up. I don't know what to do. I can't find it. Right. Right. So the problem with this is that because I'm using an extremely old, outdated browser, it is going to do things like that, and that ain't going to work out too well. Right. Right. Now the reason I'm using an old browser because I want to make sure that the test always works. Always works. If I were to use a more updated browser like Chrome or Firefox or Safari or whatever, any one of them, I could test it to see if it will work, but there's a possibility that they would have patched this kind of attack because this is a fairly easy one to do. A man-in-the-middle attack is one of the most common attacks I will find. So, here's how you prevent against it. To prevent against it, you always have to make sure that you see the little lock on the top right-hand side, on the top left-hand side of your browser. So when you go to a normal browser, let's say you go to makeITsimpleTT.com, which is my website. You see this little lock on the left-hand side here? That shows that there is SSL when you are connected to it. SSL means it is secure. So you'll see it secure, and then you'll see it have a certificate, and the certificate will tell you that it's valid, secured by some sort of encryption or some kind of thing like that. So encrypted by yada yada yada, received by encryption yada yada, blah, valid from whatever. Good. Once the site is encrypted and this lock comes up, that means you're safe to put in your information. But as I just showed, anything that has HTTPS on it, you could strip out the security, pass it through a computer, take what you want, and then send it out to another computer. It's just that most browsers are smart enough to figure out when you're stripping the HTTPS now. So when you see the lock, that's cool, make sure it's there, but also you could check, you could go and check the certificate to make sure it's valid and see what type of encryption it's using. So my website using encryption everywhere DBTLSCA-G1. That is basically like good encryption that is paid for. So yes, Javish, I had to pay for encryption for my website. I had to pay a certain amount every year to keep the website encrypted because I collect information. But I don't collect username and passwords, but I collect like names and emails and all that stuff. All those stuff pass through a server to get to my inbox when people email it. So in order to be safe and to protect these people who are putting their information into the website, I have to make sure that I put encryption on. If I was cheap and I didn't want to pay for the encryption on the website, I would not pay for it, and then it would be unsecure and anybody could steal the information that is going, but as passing through the form that people will have to fill in. But if I were to be, what's the word? Prudent or wise, I would basically make sure that I pass the information through the correct place that will allow me to give people a sense of security. So when you go to like an online banking site and the online banking site do have a lock, that's a bad sign. You should never log into online banking if it doesn't have a lock, which is what phishing sites tend to do. So a phishing site will send you to the site and tell you log in here to put in your information. And if you'll remember last week, I showed you that the biggest giveaway in a phishing site is the URL bar. So if you go to the URL bar and you look at it and you realize the URL have some weird stuff inside of it, that means you are being phished. Therefore, don't go to that site. But it's very possible that you could just be going to a normal site and this is running in the background because I have a server that is actively tracking all of the communication that's going on. Like, look at this. I'm going to scroll up and I'll show you how much communication I was tracking. It was just tracking everything that was passing. Anything that passed HTTP was going through that man-in-the-middle attack. So this is the actual man-in-the-middle here that is doing the redirect. And then this here is the actual program that is looking for anything that is HTTP based and trying to scan it. If you realize, you'll see a lot of things .py, that means it was written in Python. So the actual program that is doing the work was written in Python. The name of it is SSL strip, written in Python, right? But I don't actually know the Python code because I just run in the program. I know the commands for it. So that run in the background here. And then when I want to see what the file actually has in it, I just have to open up the log file and it will show me all the sites I went to. So I have facebook.com, I have twitter.com, I have live.com, which are the 3 examples that we did to see how you grab the data from it. And once I get this email and once I get our password, then of course I'll just log in as a person and take what I want. So yeah, again, saying it one more time, I had to use Internet Explorer because it's the weakest browser I could find, and I want to make sure that it would work in all cases. If I tried this with a newer, if I were to try this with a newer operating system and a newer browser, it's very possible that it may be harder for me to implement, but that's cool. All right, any questions about this? Mozart Seismic asks, so what programming languages do you know? I know Pascal, C, C++, a little bit of JavaScript, and a little bit of Python. I think that's about it. Yeah, I used to know a little bit of assembly language, but that was only because I was in school at that point in time and I had to do a project for it. But I can't remember how to do assembly language again. But for people don't really know assembly language in this world unless you're doing it every day. But yeah, I know Pascal because I had to teach that for Form 5, C because I have to teach that for Form 6, C++ because, well, C and C++ are very close relatives, and like when I'm helping UE students and whatnot, or teaching things, I would do C++. And JavaScript, I have to use that when I'm using a lot of Google Sheets stuff, because Google Sheets has coding inside it, JavaScript. And Python, I really learned Python because, well, it was there now, and I was like, hey, let me just learn this thing called Python, and I learned a little bit of it, but I didn't really do too much, because it was a 4-hour YouTube course now, and I just watch it, I do it in 4 hours, and I learn almost all this stuff in Python. But, I mean, knowing real plenty programming languages is not your goal in life, just letting you know that. Like, it's kind of like knowing a whole set of normal languages. You really may not go to all those countries and use all those languages, but if you do learn plenty languages, make sure you're not doing it just because you could go and tell somebody, hey, I know 4 languages. That'll be kind of stupid, because the person that knows 4 languages and does nothing with it is no better than the person that knows 1 language called C and they could be writing programs with it. So yeah, that's basically it. So that's the hacking tutorial for today. Next week, I'm going to try to write a keylogger in C++ for you. That one is actual coding. And I'm going to try to create a keylogger so that you could install it on somebody's computer. And when you install the keylogger on somebody's computer, you would be able to, well, jack the password now. And then I'll have to show you how to fight against a keylogger. So, Seismic, sir, I know this sounds like it comes straight out of the watchdogs, but is it actually possible to use a flash drive to automatically retrieve data from someone's laptop when it's plugged in? Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. I could think of 3 technical ways that it could happen, where you could put a particular auto-run program on a flash drive. Like some computers, you know, when you plug in a flash drive, they have this thing that automatically pop up and ask you what do you want to do. Right, that's something called an auto-run, right? And if you could hijack the auto-run of the system to run a small program for you, on the flash drive that will take the information from a C drive and copy it, yeah, it's possible. But you had to be able to write the .ini file or something sort of thing. And I remember doing it when I was in university, and we learned how to put auto-run on a disk, and when you plug in the disk, it will automatically run the program, and then all the information will be there. But I'm not too sure how it is now in this day and age, because operating systems have gotten a lot smarter, and they've gotten a lot more complex, and I'll try to avoid that now. But it's possible. It is possible. So, where does this man named Middle Attack happen? You see, when you go to your little free Wi-Fi spots, wherever you have spaces that have free Wi-Fi, aka a hotspot. Throw back to the question in the multiple choice that I had people wondering like, what was this? What is this symbol? Is this a hotspot? Or is this Wi-Fi? Anybody who do exams in 2020 will know that struggle there. Yeah. Anyhow, so when you go to this place that have free Wi-Fi, and you sit down with your little laptop in the corner, and you using the little router that they have here, using B-Zone router or Rituals router or whatever router, somebody, a shady person, could come and set up a man in the middle laptop, and everything that you send will pass through this router, this computer, go to the router, get out to the internet, and come back to you, and you'll think, yeah, everything working properly because I'm just using my computer. When in truth and in fact, every single thing that is passing from your computer that's trying to get out to the internet is being gobbled up by this man in the middle here. And this man in the middle here is going to harvest your credentials. And once they harvest your credentials, they will go after and log in as you. And then you will be like, Nani? But how? Somebody took my password. Well, yeah, that's why they tell you free Wi-Fi is usually one of the downsides of connecting to free Wi-Fi is that you have, it's not secure. So if I wanted to, I could go and sit down in Rituals, or I could sit down in some place, set up this ARP spoofing packet, whatever, find out the IP address of all these things, then find out the IP address of everybody on the network. And once I find out the IP address, I'll be able to target. I could target a phone, I could target a laptop, I could target a tablet, whatever. Doesn't matter, because once you know the IP address of the victim and the IP address of the default gateway, you could set up this and you'll be able to send information through. So when you're on them free Wi-Fi networks, take your time and ask yourself, is this thing really free? And every time you log in and you're on a free Wi-Fi network and you realize that weird stuff happening with the browser, or the browser not displaying properly, or when you check the address bar you're not seeing the lock, because remember, always look for the lock in the top right hand side. Notice on this here, don't lock, this is just HTTP, but on this here you see in the lock here, the lock means that it's HTTPS, and if it's not HTTPS, don't put in your information, because the information could be hijacked in the process. So the Flow Wi-Fi, any Wi-Fi that you could think of, once it's not yours at your home where you know, well, most likely nobody is on it, cool, you could live with that. But any Wi-Fi that you own that is not yours, you should always be wary about the lock. Make sure you could see the HTTPS symbol, and anytime you see the browser acting weird, or you have to re-log in twice, something may be wrong. It may not be that you just forget your password. It may not be that you know your password, you put your password in, but it's being grabbed. And when it's being grabbed, the website will be like, I don't know what's going on here, but just log in again. And every time you try to log in, you're screwed. So, yeah. It's possible. But, I mean, still take your free Wi-Fi. It's necessary, but just kind of be wary that these things could happen. One way to make sure that this is always avoided is by doing two-factor authentication. So two-factor authentication means that even if somebody has your email address and your password, when they log in, they will have to either send a text message to your phone, or you'll have to use an authenticator app to put in a code so that it will authenticate that you are who you say you are. You understand what I'm saying? So two-factor authentication kind of avoids all of this, but there are some people out there that only have one factor of authentication, which is me, my username and password, login, and then boom, everything's supposed to work. But it doesn't always work that way. So you're always susceptible to these attacks, just that you need to know what goes on. And if you know how it works, then you know how to fight it. That's the whole goal. That's the whole goal of this. So when you become a penetrator and tester, because some of you all may go and Veronique, so just get a VPN? No. All I have the wrong view of VPNs. Because you think a VPN, like, I don't know who sold the world that a VPN is the most secure thing in the world, but it's not. Let me explain to you why a VPN is not a one shot fix, right? Good question. So this is you, and you are trying to send your traffic to the server through this thing called a VPN, right? So you thinking, all right, cool. Instead of sending my traffic directly to the server over the bad internet, I'm going to send it through a VPN that will secure it for me and get me to the server and back, and then send my information back and forth through the server. Right? Cool. So you think, all right, cool, VPN works. Well, no. A man in the middle could literally just jump in the middle of you and your VPN and set up a computer here, and this is called the man in the middle. So instead of jumping between the server and you, all the man in the middle had to do is jump in between the VPN, get the same HTTPS traffic, and it will still send it back, and wherever come back to it, it will still be able to grab all the information, because really you are the target, not the VPN. If it could just intercept the traffic before it reaches the VPN, you're good. Oh, sorry, you're seeing the diagram right there. Right. So what I was explaining is, yeah, this. So you're trying to send information through the little cloud, and you be like, nah, I'm not gonna send it to you. I'm gonna send it through the VPN. But you just send it through the VPN, and what the man in the middle does is it just comes between you and the VPN and just hijacks the HTTPS information before the VPN. So if you do it before the VPN, same thing will happen. A VPN is not going to be your savior, because you still need to know and you still need to think about what is happening when you are sending the information. And that's what makes the difference. VPN is not your one-stop shop. The VPN does give you security on this side of the world. You see this side here? Right here? It gives you security there, because everything that passes through here is encrypted. So there's encrypted communication between you and the server. So the encrypted communication between you and the server is good, but from the moment the VPN send it back and try to get back to you on your network, you would end up what's called, you would susceptible to this again. So using a VPN not going to stop all of this. It will help on the other side of the server, which is the what the VPN really trying to do is to stop people like Google and Facebook and whoever from tracking you. So that's why they'll encrypt the information and go into their servers, so that they won't be able to track you back, because once they reach this VPN, they'll reach like a brick wall now. No problem. But a man-in-the-middle attack could still happen on this side of the network, which is what the problem is. This side here is where you have the issue. All you understand? It making sense to you? I think you learned this in like in IT in module 3 in Cape IT module 3, but it's very theoretical. I don't find that it's practical enough for students to actually understand what takes place. So this is why I do these things. So like when I'm teaching an IT class for IT Unit 2, and I'm teaching them about eavesdropping and all that kind of stuff, I'll be like, listen, these things are real. Look, let me demonstrate it to you. So now I just do a video demonstrating it to you also. Probably in my next classes I'll be like, hey, I have a video on this. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're not doing CAPE, you know. When you go to university, they're going to teach you about these types of things. They're going to teach you about man-in-the-middle attacks. They're going to teach you about phishing. They'll teach you about hacking. They'll teach you about all kind of stuff, because you have to learn about security. Security is one of the modules I had to learn about. But what I'm saying is, wherever you study IT, it's not always made practical that these things are possible. They tell you that it could happen, but they don't actually show you that it happens. They don't actually show you so that you understand and you see the process of it. Because what I'm doing is I'm showing you the actual process. And this here, yeah. This here, not everybody gonna show you. They will just kind of be like, oh yeah, phishing is, and you will do a you'll do a what is called this thing, you'll write a note. Phishing is when the user clicks on a link and they get blah blah blah. But if you actually see a phishing attack, or if you actually do one, you'll be able to understand it and you'll be able to answer the questions better. Because, well, that's one of the flaws of our educational system. You just learn a lot of theory, but you don't really understand the practical behind it. That's why labs exist. So some institutions will give you labs and they will let you do the labs and they will let you do things like this and they will and see stuff and figure out how to do it and it'll make a little more sense here. But some institutions just gonna let you write it down because it's theory and then you'll pass the exams and move on. And that's kind of like the thing I was trying to avoid as a teacher. If I'm teaching something that could be practically shown, I will try my best to practically show you, because that's how you learn. You don't learn to run by watching people run, you learn to run by running. And also, I'm not just teaching you how it happens, I'm teaching you how to prevent against it, so that if you see this happening anywhere, you'll be able to say to yourself, hey, this looks like it could be a man-in-the-middle attack taking place because the website's just not loading and everybody putting in their user credentials. So maybe it's being harvested. And if it's being harvested, I'm not going to log in because I will get caught in the trap that is here. And it will see all my usernames and passwords. Nice. Okay, so any questions? Anybody has any good questions about this? About how you think it could be implemented, where you think it'll be implemented, what you can or cannot do? Because Veronique asked a real good question about the VPN, how a VPN works with this. It helps on the server side, but it doesn't really fight the communication there. So when you learn about electronic eavesdropping in IT, and you'll be like, what's the difference between electronic eavesdropping and industrial espionage? This is electronic eavesdropping. You are literally listening in to the conversation or the information that's passing between two parties back and forth and stealing the stuff from it and using that information for your own personal gain. So that would be electronic eavesdropping for the most part. Okay, so everybody good there? Cool. Okay, so don't forget to go and check out the Caribbean story videos. How are you liking them so far? I see real comments passing on some of them videos, but like all y'all as impressed as I was. I didn't expect people to go so hard. I thought there was gonna be like a little one decision here and there. And they decide, alright, cool, well, you do something, then you choose between two options and then move on in life. But when people put in multiple decisions and things and then all the sound and all that kind of stuff, I was like, wait. When I checked through all the videos like last week and I was like, wow, this is good. So I had to work really, really hard to edit it. I kind of pushed the what's called this word? I pushed the time limit up a little bit because I needed to get in as much decisions as I possibly could. And I think looking good. We'll get a nice little top 10 and then we'll go through the top 10 prizes and whatnot. Yeah. Veronique, what you're saying yours is lamentable. No, it's not about lamentable, you know. It's that you actually sit down and took your time to create something. And not every time is always create something that is perfect. But the point is, you know how to do it and you know how to create. So it may not be that you are the best in the competition, but it means that, hey, if there's something that needs to be done for like your school or for your church or for your community or something like that, and they need a little animated video, you could say, hey, I could go in Scratch and make a quick animated video for them that will advertise this something or whatnot, and I could help out my school, or I could help out my community, or I could help out somebody, or I could create something like that, just because you did this or learned that. Because it's not like you're lame. It's the process of learning is taking place. So learn now, man. It's cool. Don't be down on yourself because it's lamentable. It's really about building the skills, and that's what I really want to do in life. I want children to understand that the skills are there. It's not hard to do. It's really just, do you want to apply yourself to it? And someday, somebody that enter one of those competitions, well, every year I'll do this, someday some child that enter the competition will be able to become an animator because they got their start when they were age 15 and they realize, hey, I could do this. This thing not hard at all. Next thing, you fight it down a little bit, and then you end up working in an animation studio, and they ask you how you learn all this, and they be like, well, yeah, I used to just program in Scratch and play around with little things, and you're like, whoa, this kid knows some stuff. Let me pay them some money to do this animation for the government of Antigua, or the government of St. Lucia, or the government of Trinidad and Tobago, or some big company, because everybody needs IT. And what we're trying to do is build a little IT in the Caribbean here, man. Trying to build a little thing. So, yep. Instagram voting will start probably like tomorrow. I'll put the videos up on Instagram and all. You can start to vote, because I realized that I want to not so young people voting on YouTube. And they real like, well done, my daughter. Oh, excellent work, my niece or nephew. Wow, that is great, because you could see the person is actually a teacher or something. And I'm like, okay, cool. Now I'll put it up on the Insta and see how the children handle the
Hi, how can I help?
Alright, Google, you could just not respond. I didn't even say your name. Stop. Okay, right. Yeah. So I'll put it up in the Insta and I'll see how the comments go for the not so old children. That will go up like tomorrow. Yeah, dogs. Alright, so that's it. Y'all have a good night. Thank you very much. Next week, I'm going to do next week I'm going to try to do the C program, to do the let's call this word, the password, the keylogger. Yeah, we're going to try and code the keylogger. And then the following week, I'll probably do one more, and then I'm going to start back doing work for SBA people and all that stuff, right? So Tuesday night live on Instagram, don't forget that. And Halo Tuesday night most likely next week, and Thursday, hopefully next week Sunday, we'll do our next hacking video. We'll learn some stuff. And then the following week we'll do one more, and then the following week will be the judging for My Caribbean Story, and then after that, we're back into work mode, preparing Form 4 students for CXC by working on some SBA stuff every Sunday night. So, bye-bye. Have a good